All right, now let's do some Excel examples. So here we see that this is asking us about our data, once again, from our 100 Facebook friends, right? It's asking us find the mode, median, and mean in Excel for height, as well as male height. And just to remind you, here's our frequency distribution that we looked at in previous lessons. We saw that this was, let me draw it in yellow, a bimodal distribution, if you just considered height of everybody. Oh, actually, this one should be a little bit taller because we have to add all these little red guys on. Right? Color them in. But all it's asking us to do is find the mode, median, and mean in Excel. And Excel is going to make life a little bit easier for us. We don't have to put them in order. We don't have to spend time adding them up, right? Excel will do it automatically for us. So let's open it up to Excel. Here's our data once again. And remember, it's asking us about height. So I'm going to go to our height variable, our height column. It's height in inches. And I'm going to click on the height sheet. Here I've put just some labels for us. Height, find the mode, median, and mean. And just the height of males, find the mode, median, and mean. All right. So Excel makes it really easy for us with their functions. The function for mode is simply mode. Right? Easy, right? And we're just going to go and select our data to find the mode from. Excel will go ahead and count which is the most frequent. I'm going to close my parenthesis and hit enter. And it turns out that our most frequent mode is 64, right? Now let's find the median. Excel makes it easy for us. Once again, it's just equal sign median, right? And if you're ever at a loss for how to find formulas, one thing I do is I Google it, or I look it up on the Excel help or function help, and they have a whole bunch of list of functions categorized into different types, and so it's pretty easy to find things that you need. All right, and oh, we should have saved whatever our data was, but we could just drag it again. So here's our data. And I'm going to close my parenthesis and hit enter. But here we see that the median is different from the mode. The median is actually 66. That's the middle. But the most frequent value is 64. So now let's calculate the mean. In Excel, typing in mean won't mean anything. Instead, you have to type in average. Right? So let's put in our data. And I'm going to close my parenthesis, hit enter. And what we find is our average, or mean, is 67. It's not 66 or 64. And so here, remember, height was a bimodal distribution. One of the things we see from this bimodal distribution is that mode, median, and mean are not necessarily all the same value, right? Now, remember, height of males, when we looked at it before, this was actually sort of approximately normal distribution. Normal distribution, for now, we're going to define it more in detail later, but normal distribution basically means it has that sort of one mountain sort of look. It has a axis of symmetry that's also the mode. It's unimodal. It's symmetrical. And remember, the point of inflection is about the size of a standard deviation. So let's look at height of males, the mode, median, and mean. Now, in order to find that just for males, one thing we may want to do is sort our data. We probably want to sort it so that all the males' heights are grouped together. I've already sorted it for you, but I'm just going to color the heights of males. So only up to here are males, and so I'm just going to color this blue so that we can remember to ourselves, oh, these are all the heights of males. All right, so we could just use the same formulas, mode, right? But I'm only going to select these blue ones. And I'm going to close my parenthesis. All right, so for males, the mode is 69. And I'm just going to copy, so Command or Control C, right? So that I don't have to go back to my variables, my data all the time. All right, now let's put in median. And I'm just going to Command V or Control V, copy and paste in my data, hit Enter. And what do you know? The mode and the median are the same number. And finally, I'm putting in average and just copying in my data. And here, we find that the average is also the same. The mean is also the same. And that's largely what you find for normally distributed distributions. You find that the mean, median, and mode are all the same value. So that's one thing that's handy about the normal distribution. All right, so that's our Excel example. All right, now let's contrast median and mean, two of our measures of central tendency. So one of the things about median that you should know is that it's handy because it's less affected by outliers. Means are more affected by outliers, and you could sort of think about why. They're more affected because the actual values the actual extent of the values matter, right? So if you have a very large number, that value, exactly how much that value is, it gets added in, right? And so because of that, means are more affected by outliers or extreme scores. Medians are less affected. So even if you add in one extreme score, it doesn't usually change the median by too much. All right. Now let's talk about the relationship between the parameter mean, and the statistic mean, or the parameter median and the statistic median. The sample mean, or X bar, is actually the best predictor of the population mean, or mu, right? Usually in medians, though, we don't usually use the median of a sample, which is not very many people use this, but this is the median of a sample, right? Not very many people use that in order to predict the parameter. Oh, sorry. Median of the population, right? So not many people use that to predict this, and largely it's because the relationship is less stable than this one. We're going to learn more about why this relationship holds later on in the lessons. Now, different types of measurements will it'll be better to use median or mean for different types of measurements. For mean, usually you want to use any type of measurements that are either ratio or also interval. Those are going to be best for using mean as an indicator of central tendency. Median is best for measurements that are ordinal. Now, for nominal measurements, median and mean both don't mean very much. For nominal measurements, you want to use mode. All right, so which distributions do you want to use this with? So median is most frequently used for describing the center of skewed distributions. So that's sort of what you want to think about when you think of median. When you think of mean, this can be used for lots of distributions, but for skewed distributions, the mean will be a little bit off, right? So for all others. But mean is going to be pretty flexible for us, so we're going to be using that quite a bit.